or inverses, because I have a lot of people that I think are having trouble with the inverses. All right, so first of all, guys, anytime I see this, when I see a rational and a radical, that automatically wants me to start thinking of inverse, right? And basically, the two that we focus on is tangent and sine. And then also, I see that there's a number in front. So immediately, I want to just take that number in front, or that constant multiple, and just throw it in front. Now, obviously, you don't need to rewrite everything. But I'm just going to do that so I can kind of get a little bit of a better visual. And then immediately, I look at, and I can see, oh, I recognize this from my notes. That can be rewritten as arcsine, or sine inverse, right? So therefore, basically, I have 2 times, I'm going to use arcsine of x. And I'm going to evaluate that from 1/2 to 0. So therefore, that's going to look like 2 arcsine of 1/2 minus 2 times arcsine of 0. OK. So remember, guys, arcsine is basically saying the sine of what angle gives me 1/2. The sine of what angle gives me 1/2. So going back to our pre-calculus and trig days, we know that sine is equal to 1/2 at these 2 angles. First angle, everybody should know very, very quickly. Square root of 3/2, comma, pi over, 1/2. That answer is pi over 6. And this angle over here has the same reference angle. So if you go over here, you could say that's 5 pi over 6. However, if you were to type this in your calculator, arcsine of 1/2, you're only going to get one answer. Your calculator doesn't output 2 answers. It only gives you one answer. So we've got to figure out, well, which one is it? So one thing you guys need to remember is that the arcsine and arctangent have restrictions on their domain that make sure that the angle has to be between negative pi halves and pi halves. So any angle outside of those is not within the domain restriction for arcsine. So therefore, pi over 6 is the only answer, not 5 pi over 6. And then what angle is the sine of what angle gives you 0 between this restriction, basically the first and the fourth quadrant? Well, the only time sine is equal to 0 is at the angle 0. So that's going to be minus 0. And therefore, we'll get pi over 3. OK? So the reason why we have these restrictions